Ramsay, and today I'm interviewing Todd Jones. You're watching HTV. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Heather.
So you work for Rogers TV?
Yes, I do work for Rogers TV. I've been working in community television for 28 years now. I've been based out of Nanaimo. I was hired there 28 years ago as an entry-level person. I worked in master control. Basically, I scheduled TV shows to air, and I programmed these VCRs to play back. And then within a year of working, I got promoted to a higher position where I became a director of doing studio productions. I started doing sports productions. I started doing live TV. Then I started doing a magazine half-hour show. And I've done commercial productions. And then I've done many things over 28 years. But yeah, I've been based out of Nanaimo. And now I'm fortunate enough I get to come and work out of the Alberni Valley with people here.
How did you start?
Well, that's a very good question. It all started back when I was a teenager. My parents bought a video camera. And this video camera had a flying erase head. So basically what it meant is I could do video and audio inserts separately when I'm editing. So I started making these funny little videos, and I said, you know what? I really want to be an editor. So I decided to apply to go to college. I went to SAIT, Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. I went there for a 2-year program, and I graduated from the television program. It's sort of like single camera production because I like to edit. So basically we made documentaries and short films, and I learned to be an editor, and I graduated with a major in editing.
Oh. How would someone get involved in this?
Well, that's a really good question, right? Because everybody loves the idea of TV, but they don't know what it takes to make TV. And TV looks easy. You point the camera, somebody talks on camera like you're doing, like I'm doing right now. But there's a lot more to it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. But the nice thing about Rogers TV is we have a great volunteer program. Like right now, such as yourself, you're volunteering. We have camera people. We have Ethan on camera over there. He's a volunteer. Behind me, we have Gerald. He's a cameraman, and he's volunteering. Right now, there's a director named Laura who's directing. She's a volunteer. We also have a script assistant who is Leah, and she's volunteering. So everybody here is a volunteer that donate their time. They want to learn about television production and how to make it. So we have a program where people can come in, they want to find out about TV, we will help instruct them and teach them and encourage them. And they let us know what they want to do, and we help try to facilitate that and help them grow in what they want to know.
What are some things you film in the community?
Oh, well, being around for 28 years, I've done so many things. I've done so many amazing sports. I love doing sports productions. So I've done, what's funny, when I was in school, when I graduated from college, I said, I would never want to be a director. Why would you want to be a director? It's so stressful. And now all I do is direct everything. I love directing live TV because you just never know what's going to happen. Recently we were here, we did Totem Basketball. That was a lot of fun. But again, working with all volunteer staff, we worked with all these ADSS students, Alberta District School students that came in. We had 6 students come in. They had to learn how to do sports and how to do camera. It was so much fun working with them and teaching them how to put on a basketball production. And that was great. And we're really looking forward to coming back on February 3rd. ADSS is holding their annual wrestling invitation. We're going to come out with our big mobile truck there and do that production too. So we're really looking forward to that. So I've done many. I also did a sports show out of Central Vancouver Island called The Locker Room. I have to mention this show because it's an interactive sports show and a host named Extreme Joe. And we call him Extreme Joe because he'd go, whatever sports story we did, he would try the sport out. He was terrible at sports. He was so bad. The most clumsy person in the world. So it was really funny. And then we had a co-host came on, and her name was Holly. And she was so good at sports. And so whatever sport they did, they both try it out together, and they would compete against each other, and she would just beat them up. And it was so much fun. We won a broadcasting award for that show, and we did it for 10 seasons. That was a lot of fun too.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot of stuff.
How do different types of filming vary from each other?
Well, Heather, what a great question, because there's so many different ways of filming. For example, if you're doing a sports production, it's live. You're doing stuff in the moment. You have to have great improv skills. Your reaction time has to be so fast. You're following action really fast. Then there's something like a studio production. This is where it's sitting down, talking head show, right? So again, not much movement for the camera people, but a director has to cut between the action. Then there's stuff like film. Like you're making a film, it's more cinematic, right? Where it's not live, so it's not a multi-camera situation, it's single camera production, like a commercial production. So basically, you're lining up for one shot, you do all your lighting, you shoot that shot, then you move the camera and do your next shot, right? So it's like making a movie, much more cinematic, takes a lot longer to do, but it has a higher production value, sort of thing. So those are different types of skill sets we teach through our volunteer program at Rogers TV. Depending on whatever the person wants to learn, we can teach that, along with editing, producing, hosting, such as yourself.
What are what's your favorite types of filming?
Oh, Heather, you know, I'm a type of person, when I started 28 years ago, I was an editor. Remember I mentioned how I edited? I did some camera, I volunteered for back then, I volunteered for Shaw TV back in Calgary. I did all the sports productions, so that's how I learned how to do sports productions. I did some studio productions. We did a live music show called Mobile Music Machine. It was a live where people performed live. But I didn't know how to do audio, I didn't know how to do graphics, so I want to make sure when I started, I wanted to learn everything I possibly could. So I worked hard learning how to do audio. I worked hard learning how to make graphics and build graphics. So the biggest thing I thought to myself is I want to make sure I wear as many hats as possible, know as much as you possibly can, so I can do everything, so nothing can limit me. So that's one thing I try to do, and I always encourage volunteers is try to learn as many skills as you possibly can in the industry, because the more skills you have, the more things you can do, the more power you have, and easier it is to get a job and possibly follow your passion.
Has anyone helped you along the way?
Oh, I had so many people help me along the way. Like, after 28 years, you work with so many amazing people. Like, I can talk about my first, I'm very thankful, a guy named Russ Reeves got me a job. He hired me out of 80 applicants. I got in. So like, it was hard to get in. I got in, very fortunate. So he gave me the opportunity to get in. Bob Terrio, he moved me up and gave me responsibility quickly. Hey, we want you to do sports productions. Jim Relaford, another guy who's come back and volunteering with us now, but he was my mentor when I first started. Again, he was doing the mobiles. He said, hey, Todd, we think Todd should do the mobile. So I started doing mobile productions, again, with his instructions. And then I worked with so many great people, Beth and Melissa. And then I worked with so many great hosts, like a guy named Eric Thompson, Cam Moon, Darren Harbord, Dan Marshall. It goes on and on. Cam McLean was my supervisor for like 15 years, fantastic. Larry Quiring taught me to be a better storyteller. Right now, I worked with so many amazing people, and right now I work with Jocelyn Matwee, the producer, that we just kind of gel and just work together so well in so many different products. And our technician we have is Stas Bobkov. Like I've had many amazing people, but Stas Bobkov is another person. Like he's a guy who builds everything. He built a studio. Like this Wednesday, he came in here, built a studio in 3 hours, and here we are in our studio in Port Alberni. First time like 15 years we're back in the studio, so it's really exciting. And Stas Bobkov, with his skill, built a set so we can actually do the show in here.
So the studio was a warehouse for 15 years. So how did you turn it into this?
Well, that's a great question, Heather. Again, it's so exciting because like 15 years ago, there was Nancy and Darren, who were here forever, and they had a functioning studio that did so many productions out of here. It's so easy for volunteers to get involved and come in, and we did all these shared so many stories of the community in here. But then, of course, as any business gets bigger, sometimes they need space. They took the studio space and had to make a warehouse. So there's just not, this building's very small, as you know, from the outside. They needed warehouse space. So we lost the studio. So everything was done with single camera out in the field. And then recently, they built a new building. There's a different warehouse, and they gave us back the studio. So we had an option to come back in, and our technician, Stas Bobkov, we had gear lying around that we took from Vancouver because they shut down the Vancouver station, so we had all this gear, and he built the studio in 3 hours. Now, what you see right now, Heather, it's really rough. We just got it set up on Wednesday. It's working. We're in here. You're hosting, which is very exciting because it's been like over 15 years since we've been in the studio. Now we have an opportunity for Heather can host a show. Gerald LeBeau, another host, is going to have a time travel show out of here. Great opportunity for volunteers to learn camera. Right now, again, first-time director, Laura, inside the studio. I'm so excited and so proud of all these students coming in and having an opportunity to work in a studio setting. So it's a very good opportunity for anybody who's interested in learning about television to come in and learn about how to make a studio production.
Wow. How do you get all the people to help?
Well, again, the whole thing is you have to It's like the movie Field of Dreams. Have you ever heard of the movie Field of Dreams? It came out way before you were born. Basically, it's about a guy who built a baseball field in a baseball diamond in a cornfield, and because some ghosts were talking to him. I've never seen the movie, but so ghosts are talking to him, building they'll come. So he built this baseball field, and all these ghost baseball players came and played a game. So that's what the movie's about. I haven't seen the movie, but that's what it's about. So again, without a studio, there's no place for people to come. So now we have a studio. There's going to be a lot more opportunities for people to come and actually do something. So we'll have a much more opportunity to share community stories in a setting where we come, we turn on some lights, turn on the cameras. Here we have a studio set where a free place to come without distractions. Come here, sit here and talk and share community stories. And we're really excited about the opportunity to do such a thing.
What are some things you like to do in your free time?
Oh, you know what? If you ask my wife and my kids, they'll say I don't have a lot of free time. They say I'm married to my job. I love what I do. So when I'm not working, I love playing hockey. I'm a goalie. I love playing hockey. I play all the time. Sometimes I play 3 days a week, which is a lot for an old man. I love watching movies. I'm constantly learning. I love making films. And my hobbies, I make short films. So I love watching movies to research, and then I take holidays a lot of time. When we don't go anywhere, I'll make a movie. And so I like doing that. And one of my other big things I like to do in spare time is I like to collect action figures. Why do I like to collect action figures? Because I want to get into stop frame animation where, you move the person, so you do stop frame. Like, we watch that stop frame animation movie like Coraline or something like that, right? So where they move a little bit, take a picture, move a little bit, so it makes it look like they move. So I buy these action figures with lots of articulation, so you can move their arms lots and their heads lots. So I want to try and get into stop frame animation.
How have all of these helped you with your film?
Well, it's just everything when it comes to what I do, working with people, doing mobiles, doing studio production, doing commercial productions. Everything is skill sets that you're learning that kind of piggybacks off each other. That's the nice thing about getting involved with TV is like you're learning people skills. Like the fact where I'm a guest and you're interviewing me, there's no way I would ever want to be on camera. But here I am talking to you about stuff. Again, because of everything I learned, everything kind of piggybacks each other. It's like you can take a little bit of skill and add it to something else. Like again, I started as an editor. From editing, I need this shot. I learned how to shoot. And then from learning how to shoot, I had to call people to get people to come. I learned how to produce. So everything I've done is all kind of supported what I've done over the years to get me to where I am. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you collect action figures. What made you start collecting them?
As a kid, when I was 5 years old for Christmas, my cousin got me my first action figure, C-3PO, little 3.5-inch Star Wars action figure. And after that, I just loved action figures. So I collected action figures from 5 years old up until I think I was 15. I still have all my action figures too at home. So then when the pandemic hit, just looking for something. Oh, actually, it was Christmas Eve. Boxing Day. I went to the comic book shop. I love comic books. I love pop culture. I went to the comic shop, and there was a Godzilla. I'm a big fan of the old Godzilla movies. And so I always wanted a Godzilla toy when I was a kid, but they were impossible to find. Here's a Godzilla, and I said, it's half price. It was Boxing Day, so I bought it. So I bought one, like, oh, this is really cool. And then I bought another one. And I bought another one. And then I bought Stormtroopers. So I probably have up to 200 toys. Like my whole entire office has all these toys on the wall. They're in boxes still, and some are out of the boxes. I'll buy some toys. I'll buy two of because I really like them. So I'll open one, put it on the shelf, and have one in the box on the wall. That's basically my office space. Yes, I have with movie posters and Spider-Man posters, Incredible Hulk posters. But yeah, that's what I like to do. But again, it kind of all inspires me for my job. We're making movies. I find that stuff very inspirational. I just love, and I just find it inspires me to come up with ideas for stuff for movies and concepts and for TV shows too.
What's your favorite part about Port Alberni?
My favorite part about Port Alberni? Well, we're based in Nanaimo, and so we're in Port Alberni all the time. Like one thing I love about Port Alberni is coming down is the people. Like not living here, but coming down, the people are always so nice. I've worked with so many. Like I worked with Nancy Wilmot here in Port Alberni forever, who was a producer here with Shaw TV, and now she's running The Scoop out in Alberni, which is really cool. And she's always a great person to come to and talk to. So I think one of my favorite things about Port Alberni is Nancy Wilmot and coming down and talking to her. But I just love the way it looks. I love the Harbor Key. It's just a nice, friendly town. The fact that you drive this beautiful mountain to get to the city, and then you're here. The hole in the wall is amazing. Like there's so much stuff about Port Alberni. It's a great, quiet town, but you have so much great sights to look at.
Is there anything else you would like to share?
Well, let's talk about opportunities for volunteers.
Okay.
Because the fact we talk about having this new studio open or the studio open again, there's many great opportunities for volunteers. So if people are home, want to come and try and learn about what you're doing or learn about behind the scenes of how to make TV, they can contact us at Rogers TV. Email my contact information is right below us there. Give us a call. Let us know you want to get involved with television production, and we'll try and work with you and get you involved.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Heather, very much for doing what you're doing, and it's such a pleasure getting to know you more.
Thank you for watching HTV. See you next time. I'm Heather Ramsay.